As John already mentioned, I'm an AGT student from semester 1 this year, and I'm going to be presenting a modified version of the assignment that I handed in, because the original one, well, I wanted to extend it, but it turns out that it wasn't that extendable. So we had to completely redo it, and I actually had help from a friend, Steve Cuddy.
Yeah, I'm not actually a games tech student. I am a student here. I'm doing a degree in computer network engineering. But the aim of my involvement with this project is to demonstrate that even someone with a fairly fluent knowledge of C++ can learn the Irrlicht engine in just a matter of days.
Yep. Which brings me to what we're actually presenting. Unfortunately, I never actually submitted the title because we kept making last-minute design choices. So our game is actually called The Labyrinth, and you can guess why, because we've actually got more rooms, more obstacles to overcome, and we have to go through a whole maze on 3 different levels to get to the end of the game. Well, 3 different floors, not levels per se. Yep, and the whole point of this game was to demonstrate how beginners or even intermediate games developers can develop a simple game using an open source game engine, in this case version 1.4.2, to make a relatively simple game. And now if we go over to the game options tab. No, not the difficulty.
Oh, that's one here,
yeah. As part of redesigning, we actually put in a menu where you can actually select the type of rendering that you like and the type of hardware device that's going to be doing the rendering. And there's a list of 5 there. We've set the default as direct 3. What's that? Direct 3D.
Direct 3 monitors.
Yeah, I can't see it clearly on these monitors. And well, we did actually have a full screen function, but unfortunately, due to the way the dual monitor is set up, we cannot use it, so we'll have to display it in the 800 by 600 window pane. And then we've got a couple of options there about how dark or how light you want the game to look, as in the shadowing and the pixel lighting. And if we go to the controls tab, the next tab, you'll notice that we're just using the standard WASD as well as the up, down, left and right arrows to move about. And we're shooting with the left mouse button, and we've got, and to exit the game we press escape. But here's a good feature that we've put in, a screenshot feature, so that while we're playing the game, if we had any cool stuff that we wanted to show someone, we just press F9 and it shows up in our screenshots folder, which also comes in handy when we're actually making documentation out of this as well. And another feature that we put in there, as all games should and must, we've got 3 levels of difficulty: easy, medium and high. And each of them will load different settings into the game. Basically these settings control how many points you get for killing enemies, how many points you lose for actually walking into enemies, pretty much your basic game rules on how to interact with the game. I probably should mention this now due to time constraints, because we had only about 3, maximum 4 days to work on it after we finished our exams. And because we had to redesign everything, we had to pretty much relearn the engine itself.
Yeah, and it was my first time using Irrlicht, so I had to learn from scratch, pretty much.
Therefore, while we've actually got the options here, they're not implementable. The only thing that is being implemented is the actual health points that you start off with. And that's just an extendable feature. What happened? Why has it disappeared again?
Oh, it's there.
Technical difficulties. I might want to start it again. I missed most of the action. You just made another instance.
No, it's just it's going to start on the screen as well.
Don't you can switch off the screen. Sorry, it's just that we programmed in a panoramic view that shows the whole level as you're going through it. Yeah. So there we have the ferry, and in the corner you'll see the fire, a health pack. There's also water there, and don't laugh at this, but that was pretty much the best I can do with the water effect. 3 hours for that. And if you look at the back, you'll see a Viking, and that's pretty much our exit point, killing the Viking, because he's the level boss.
This level, the mesh for this level is modeled off Quake 3. And it's one of the models that came with the tutorials that we decided to use.
And you'll notice that we've got at the bottom of the screen game points set to 0 because, as I mentioned before, we couldn't implement it. We didn't have the time for that. And the health, because we picked easy, starts off at 100. And we'll make another run of it to show you how those numbers update when we choose different difficulties. This character you see running around has been provided by the Irrlicht engine. And basically this is one of 3 types of enemies that we have in the game. And this is a slight bug because I couldn't get the collision detection and the response monitor to work properly, but as you can see, she catches up to her own blood spurting. And as you get closer to hazards and other objects, they actually disappear because, as I mentioned, didn't have time to implement full features of it. But there was some cool animations. So if you turn around to this character, you'll see that she's actually pointing at the door. So you might think, oh, she's helping me. But is she? Let's go through that. No, not that, but the other one. Going up the stairs. Did you show them her pointing?
Where is she? It's really dark. There she is.
Yep, so she's pointing to the doorway. So you think, oh, cool, an enemy helping me. Go up the doorway. Oh, there's the boss. Catch is, we can't get around him. Go on, show him. But we can shoot at him. Right? So and unfortunately, because we don't have enough game points to kill him, she's obviously an enemy. Let's go back and kill her. Yep, and then we've got health packs there, and then we've got another enemy there. Yeah, this is the second type of enemy called the fairy. The other one was called the Sydney character, which we've nicknamed as the girl. And this one is harmless. This one's just for bonus points, so that we can actually reach a minimum number of points to actually go ahead and kill the Viking. And the Viking was another mesh that was also provided by Irrlicht. They've named it as Dwarf, but due to the sizing of it and the placement of his character, we just call him the Viking. And if we go back to the other end of the room, you'll notice that if you look to the right, no, not there, there's actually water in there. And again, when we get close to it, it disappears. And yep, show them that. So we have collision detection for that. And then if we go up the stairs that accompany that room, yep, those stairs, on the ladder. Yeah, this is a bit difficult to do. This wasn't very easy to do in the collision manager. And then you'll notice that we're actually looking at the waves. But the catch is, we can't actually walk on the water, we can't swim through the water, we just fall down. So this is obviously not the way to go. So we have to take the other ladder. And go up this ladder. You'll notice that there's a fairy there to kill. So when we kill her, then we've accomplished enough points